Running a lunchbox shop, that's beneath our family's status. You're an embarrassment, so you won't be attending the wedding. Those unexpected words struck me like a blow during a family meeting where my son, who was engaged to the CEO's daughter, was present. My late husband Joseph's beloved shop was belittled, and I was told I couldn't attend my own son's wedding. The pain was sharp, but for my son's sake, I felt I had no choice. I didn't want to jeopardize his future or happiness, so with a heavy heart, I reluctantly agreed to their terms. But then, an unexpected person appeared, leaving the others pale. "Take care of Mom for me," Joseph had said to Richard with a smile as he took his last breath. We had thought we had more time together, but fate had other plans. We had promised to make people smile through our cooking. Growing up, my parents were always busy, so I naturally started making dinner for the family. I'd cook, wrap up the leftovers, and head to bed. In the morning, the dishes were always clean, and there would be a thank you note left behind. It was those small moments that made me fall in love with cooking. I wanted to make my parents happy. Joseph, with his passion for cooking and dreams of owning a restaurant, captivated me. We started dating, and cooking for him, an aspiring chef, was both thrilling and nerve-wracking. One day, he said, "Nancy, let's open a shop together. Your cooking has the magic to make people smile, and I'm one of them. Let's make people smile together." His words brought back memories of my efforts to please my parents, and I decided to open a cozy lunchbox shop with Joseph. I handled the mornings while Joseph took care of the nights. He always made it a point to say thank you after every meal, insisting that gratitude needed to be expressed. His words still echo in my mind. After Richard was born, life was tough but fulfilling. Joseph passed away before he could fully realize his dream, leaving me to raise Richard on my own. I did my best to shield him from my grief. Richard grew up to be a thoughtful, kind young man who even helped with chores. He loved my cooking and eventually started cooking himself. When he got a job, he prepared a special meal to thank me. Even after moving out, he would occasionally visit to check on me. Recently, Richard mentioned he wanted to cook another special meal. "What's the occasion?" I asked, curious, as special meals had become rare since he started working. We sat down to eat, and as I enjoyed his delicious cooking, Richard said, "Mom, I'm marrying Patricia." I knew Patricia, his warm-hearted coworker, and felt they were a perfect match. "That's wonderful. Make her happy, okay?" I said. "Of course, and Mom, I might become the next CEO." It turned out Patricia was the daughter of the CEO of the company where Richard worked, and they were impressed with Richard's work, seeing him as a future leader. I was surprised but also deeply proud that my son was being recognized. As I prepared to visit Patricia's family before the wedding, I couldn't help but feel sentimental, reflecting on the journey that had brought us here. William Smith and Elizabeth, who greeted us, had nothing but praise for Richard. The table was laden with various dishes, and I noticed a private chef busy in the kitchen. Richard is truly exceptional, both in his work and as a person. We trust him with the company's future, they said. We always thought Richard and Patricia were a perfect match, and we cried tears of joy when we heard they were getting married. We look forward to the future. Richard, a bit shy, firmly declared, "I will build a happy home with Patricia." He and Patricia then excused themselves to prepare something, leaving the room with playful smiles. I felt a mix of pride and warmth. But then Elizabeth's tone shifted. "So, Nancy, were you planning to quit that lunchbox shop of yours?" "Quit? I never said I was quitting," I replied, taken aback. "Well, it's not like it's making much money. Why keep running such a small shop?" I couldn't believe my ears. "Why are you saying this? That shop is precious to me and my late husband Joseph. It's not like you're offering anything special. The Smith family owns a major corporation with hundreds of employees. It's not a good match. We were fine with Richard, but we can't accept that his family runs a small-town lunchbox shop. We thought you were quitting, which is why we moved forward with the wedding plans." I was stunned. I couldn't comprehend what was being said, or maybe I just didn't want to. Was my shop really the reason Richard couldn't get married? Why does the scale of our business affect my son's marriage? Elizabeth continued, her tone cold. "It's a significant difference, objectively speaking. How can we tell people that the family of our future CEO runs an outdated lunchbox shop? Don't belittle it just because it's a lunchbox shop." I protested. Elizabeth snorted at my words and delivered the final blow. "Enough. You're an embarrassment to our family with that lunchbox shop. You won't be attending the wedding, not just the wedding. If you continue with the shop, we'll cut ties with Richard as well. Do you intend to hold Richard back?" Their words cut deep into my heart. I was overwhelmed by a mix of emptiness and anger. All I wanted was for Richard to find happiness. He's my pride and joy. Please let me see him get married, even if it's from the shadows. But even as I said the words, I could barely believe them. Why should I have to watch Richard's wedding from the shadows? My mind was reeling, trying to make sense of it all. "I'm sorry," Elizabeth replied, her voice devoid of any warmth. "But even if you were in the shadows, Richard and Patricia might find it suspicious. We'll just say you had an emergency and couldn't attend." Just then, I heard Richard and Patricia's voices as they returned to the room. They'll be back soon, I thought. If I just give in to William and Elizabeth's demands, these two can live happily. If I just endure it, everything will work out. If I just... "Nancy, what do you think?" Elizabeth's voice cut through my thoughts. "All right, sorry for the wait. Here's a gift from us to the three of you," Richard said, stepping into the room with Patricia. "Oh, what a relief. You two prepared such a wonderful gift. I'm so happy, thank you." "I didn't expect you to do something so wonderful," Elizabeth exclaimed. They had given Elizabeth a music box, President William a bottle of whiskey, and for me, an apron. Patricia suggested the apron, saying you're always cooking delicious meals at the shop. We were worried if you'd like it. "Ah, thank you, I'll cherish it," I managed to say, trying to hold back tears. "Mom, are you crying that much?" Richard asked, surprised but smiling warmly. The apron would be my last memory. The smiles of Richard and Patricia were deeply etched in my heart. "Be happy," I whispered to myself. On the day of the wedding, I sat on the living room floor, still in my pajamas, without the energy to even turn on the lights. My phone was filled with missed calls from Richard and Patricia. Since that day, I didn't know how to interact with Richard, who was excitedly talking about the wedding. I could only offer him cliché words, clutching the apron they had given me, celebrating their union alone, with tears flowing endlessly. The next day, I was awakened by the incessant ringing of the doorbell. I instantly knew it was Richard, and indeed there he was, with Patricia. On the first day of their new life, they had come all the way to my house. As soon as I opened the door, Richard, unable to hide his anxiety, said, "Mom, what happened?" "We were worried because we knew you wouldn't forget the wedding." "Why didn't you come?" "Nancy, was it something I did?" Their faces were pale, a stark contrast to the happiness they should be feeling. I hadn't expected them to see me like this, the day after the wedding. "Mom, please, I need to know," Richard urged. From their expressions, I knew that no amount of sugarcoating would work. "Let's talk. Come in." I told him everything, what President William and Elizabeth had said to me when they stepped out. I wondered if it was okay to reveal everything, but I couldn't stop myself. Richard's face gradually tensed up, but Patricia seemed the most shocked. "What is this? How could they say such terrible things to you, Nancy?" "This is unbelievable," Patricia said, tears welling up in her eyes, a mix of anger, sadness, and surprise. "Nancy, I don't know how to apologize for my parents. I'm so sorry." "Stop it, Patricia. You've done nothing wrong." "I'm sorry for causing you pain the day after your wedding," I replied. "Well, Mom, thank you for telling us," Richard said calmly, but with a daze in his eyes. Patricia left my home, and the next day, the doorbell rang again. Could it be Richard? I opened the door to find President William and Elizabeth standing there. "What have you done? Enough of your games," they shouted, their anger clear. I was emotionless as I absorbed their angry shouts. "What's the matter?" "Matter? You come here shouting, disturbing the neighbors." I replied, barely holding back my frustration. "Disturbing? We're not worried about the neighbors. You've ruined everything," they yelled. "It seems like you're the ones. Who's ruined things? What are you talking about?" You must have filled Patricia and Richard's heads with nonsense. Richard even handed in his resignation, and Patricia is talking about cutting ties with us. You orchestrated this, didn't you? I hadn't asked for any of this, nor had I orchestrated anything. Was this what Richard's determined look meant? I felt a mix of relief and confusion about how to handle the situation. I simply told them the truth. "Don't accuse me of manipulating them. I think they made their own decisions." "Stop playing games," President Williams snapped. "I'd like to say the same to you." "What is this? Are you trying to ruin our company?" Just as he shouted, a sleek, spotless black luxury car pulled up in front of the house. The door opened and we all gasped. Out stepped Richard, followed by Patricia, and then an elderly gentleman. "Nancy, long time no see. I apologize for the recent rudeness," the elderly man said, his tone gentle yet firm. "Dad, why are you here? Do you know this person?" President William stammered, clearly unsettled. "Don't ask so many questions," Richard replied calmly. "Nancy's father is a successful businessman who runs multiple companies. We owe him a lot. Nancy is also involved in the business as an executive. Didn't you know that?" The elderly gentleman was David Smith, President William's father and Patricia's grandfather, currently serving as the chairman. I had met him at board meetings at my father's company, but it had been a while. President William paled at David's words. "You can't be serious. You didn't even know the management of your business partners. Shame on you. And you dared to say cut ties and don't attend the wedding to the parents of the man Patricia is going to spend her life with. Utterly disrespectful." David's words hit hard, involving me, Richard, and Patricia. President William and Elizabeth looked as if they'd been plunged into despair. A week later, I ran into President William at a board meeting at my father's company. He gave me a slight nod and quickly moved away, avoiding me. Watching his retreating back, I made up my mind, for Richard and Patricia's sake, this relationship couldn't continue as it was. After the meeting, I stopped President William, who was hurrying home. "President William, we're renting out my shop this weekend to celebrate my son's wedding. Would you like to join us?" "Oh, well, I don't think it's appropriate for me to." "Don't say that. It's a good opportunity to mend fences. We had issues at the wedding, but why not start fresh?" "Why would you, after all that happened?" I was hurt, but Patricia apologized first. "I want those two to be happy. We share that wish, don't we? Will you join us?" After some thought, President William nodded. "I'm truly sorry. I'll join the celebration." On the day of the event, when President William and Elizabeth walked into my lunch shop, Richard and Patricia stood up to say something. But before they could, I stepped forward to greet them. "Thank you for coming today. It's a bit cramped because we've set up the dining area where we usually display lunch boxes, but let's enjoy ourselves." "What's the meaning of this?" Patricia glared at her parents. "Patricia, I invited them. We can't continue like this. We can't forget what happened at the wedding. But we can make better memories from now on. Also, you can't just sever ties with family. I have a request too, okay?" Elizabeth hesitated, then said, "Thank you for raising Patricia to be such a wonderful person." "I said such terrible things. It's because Patricia, who met Richard, is wonderful. I learned from Joseph that you have to express gratitude." It took time, but the tension between the newlyweds and their parents eventually eased. Now we all enjoy a meal together once a month. Elizabeth even started buying lunch boxes from my shop. Today, as always, I greet her wearing the apron Richard and Patricia gave me. Welcome, all to bring smiles through cooking.